Larry had figured out that Jake would meet up with his coworkers at the restaurant's bar shortly after spotting them in the crowd. Jake's colleagues were leaving early tomorrow, but as the company's leader, he'd stay an extra 2 days to handle business matters. Larry observed Jake closely. Jake was an attractive guy, and he had already drawn the interest of a few women at the bar. Jake was about a decade younger than Larry, who had recently turned 50. Larry was a little over 6 feet tall and had a fit and sporty look, even though he didn't really work out. Larry understood why his wife, Angelina, was attracted to Jake, and why her work trips aligned with his. Larry had uncovered his wife's affair, and after finishing his soft drink, he headed over to a table in the bar. He looked at the guys and said, "Hey Jake, I'm Larry, Angelina's husband. I hope we can chat in private." Jake seemed initially puzzled, sporting a smile but showing deep concern in his eyes. He replied nervously, "Larry, Angelina's husband. Nice to meet you. What brings you to this small town? I came here to have a private conversation with you. I'm here with my coworkers and we're having dinner. They're leaving tomorrow morning. Can we meet up another time in our hometown?" Larry scanned the room. The place was only half full, and by pointing to an empty booth in the back, I suggested that all I needed was 5 minutes. Larry said, "I'll take that booth," and Jake followed him, looking visibly upset. As they sat down in the booth at a table, Larry asked, "I can't figure out why you came all this way to talk to me. It would have been so much simpler to just give me a call." "It definitely would have been easier and more convenient, but no, I wanted to meet the guy my wife spends her nights with during her so-called work trips, in the same room and in the same bed," Larry replied, delivering a quick blow that caught Jake off guard. He paused and muttered, "Larry, it's not what you think. Don't be absurd. It's exactly what I think, and I've got evidence of it." "Evidence? Well, I'm just wondering how long this has been going on." "I can't say for sure. Maybe about 6 to 8 months. "I'd say it's been closer to 2 years. No, at first we were just talking, and nothing happened. But then, things changed. And then we started emailing each other all the time. It was through those emails that we had our regular dates." "Larry, she truly loves you. You know that, right?" "I loved her too. That's why going through a divorce is going to be tough for me." "Divorce? You're going to end your marriage over a little affair? That doesn't seem that serious. You don't have to take that step. So I should just accept being deceived and living a life of lies?" "I don't want to use harsh words, but her actions give me a reason to seek a divorce." "What will you do with the evidence you've collected? I don't want to use it against Angelina." "I'll just file for divorce and seek custody of the kids. I'm leaving now. Angelina is in a nearby town today and won't be back until tomorrow afternoon. You can tell her about our meeting then. You'll be the one to break the news about the divorce. Also, give her a copy of the court documents. Let her know that they haven't arrived yet, but they will. She can take her time. She no longer has a place to call home. When she returns to town tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, or 3 days from now, she's in for a big surprise. If you decide to warn Angelina right now, the second set of evidence regarding your unfaithfulness will immediately reach your wife. There will also be other consequences." Larry got up and walked out to the parking lot towards his car. Jake hesitated, utterly perplexed by Larry's actions. To make things more complicated, Jake and Angelina worked for different companies. Officially, they only crossed paths during production meetings and joint meetings. Angelina didn't hold a high-level management position, while Jake, a man of action, had climbed the corporate ladder quickly in a reputable company. Angelina worked as a simple engineer overseeing the work done by the company where Jake was the director. Jake felt like he was betraying Angelina. Yes, now he wasn't prepared to confront her husband, at least not enough to believe Larry's claim that he had some evidence of his wife's unfaithfulness. What if Larry was telling the truth? After pondering for a while, he made up his mind and called Angelina's number. After a few rings, there was no answer. Then he received a message saying that the caller was temporarily unavailable. Jake couldn't resist sending a text to Angelina. In the message, he urgently told her to get in touch with him, saying, "We have problems. Your husband knows everything." He realized that his marriage was in jeopardy, but he didn't trust Larry. He suspected that Larry might not have any substantial evidence. Larry was driving in his car when he heard the notification sound of a text message. It was on his wife's cell phone, which she had left at home. While driving, he pulled over, picked up the phone, read the message, and then called his friend using his own phone, saying, "Dima, you can complete the deal in the morning. Go ahead and buy the controlling stake." Got it. 20 minutes later, Larry's phone buzzed again with a notification of a text message. Glancing at it while on the move, the message read, "Package delivered." Half an hour later, his wife's cell phone rang. It had to be her, as Wendy had provided her phone number. Larry answered. "Wendy, I'm listening." "How do you know I'm Wendy? I'm the one who forwarded you the documents. You received them 20 minutes ago, and I was sure you'd want to reach out to my wife. Tell me, how long have you been aware of all this?" "I haven't known for very long, but I've had some time to prepare. It's unfortunate that this has come as a surprise to you, and I completely understand your emotional state. Tell me, are they together right now?" "No, she's planning to meet him tomorrow. They were originally scheduled to be on a business trip for 3 more days after their meeting." "Are you certain?" "I spoke with your husband about 40 minutes ago and informed him that Angelina can take her time since she no longer has a home, and he should be prepared for a divorce." "Do you believe that's a realistic possibility?" "I doubt it. She probably won't want a divorce, and she'll fight against it. But I've prepared a legal document, and my lawyer is ready to submit it. Your husband will hand it to her when they meet tomorrow." "And what about the kids?" "I've taken custody of my children, and they're already living elsewhere. I didn't want to disrupt your family, and I advised your husband not to reach out to my wife or contact her. But he didn't heed my advice, and that's why I sent you the legal documents. But there are more consequences in store for him. I can't express how challenging it would be for me to be without my husband's support." "I doubt that. From a financial standpoint, you're in a strong position. Everything your husband owns is registered under your name as a gift from your parents. You also have access to your husband's bank accounts. You can ethically withdraw 75% of it tomorrow morning, and I suggest you do it quickly." "But won't he object to that?" "Let him object. If he does, I'll arrange for a lawyer to support you." "Do I have to pay for the lawyer?" "The legal fees are already covered, but I won't get in the way of your decisions. You can talk it over with the attorney." Angelina was contemplating her upcoming meeting with Jake. Although she had completed her work during the business trip, she had informed her superiors that there was still a substantial workload and that it would take a few more days. In reality, she was preparing for a rendezvous with Jake and anticipated a pleasant evening ahead. Angelina felt content. She was relieved that she no longer carried guilt about her 2-year affair with Jake in front of her husband, Larry. Angelina's life was going exceptionally well. She took pride in her role as a wife and the mother of her smart and beautiful children. She enjoyed professional respect at her workplace and had a wonderful lover in Jake. However, Jake's existence remained a secret to everyone. Currently, Jake was staying in a nearby district center at a hotel where Angelina was due to arrive tomorrow. By then, Jake's colleagues who had accompanied him would have left. Leaving her home, Angelina had misplaced her phone so she could only reach Jake via email. Unfortunately, her laptop's battery had died completely. While she couldn't recall Jake's number, she did have her husband's number. She decided to call him from the hotel phone to check on the kids. Larry answered, saying, "Hello, it's Larry. I lost my phone somewhere." "You didn't lose it. You placed it in your purse, which was hanging in the hallway. You then left with a different purse. I warned you that collecting purses wouldn't lead to anything." "Did you search through my purse?" "Why would I do that? I called you just an hour ago to check on you, and the call came from your purse hanging in the hallway. I realized there was no point in calling you again." "Did anyone else try to reach me?" "I don't know. I was at work. Maybe someone did, but I didn't check. Where's the phone?" "It's in my purse. Should I retrieve it?" "No need to get it out. I'll manage without it for a while. How are the kids?" "The kids went to the neighbor's house to play a computer game." "Don't we have enough computers at home?" "It's some new game. A multiplayer one." "Is Masha also playing with them?" "I'll give you more details. Based on their conversations, it seems she's the one winning." "Shouldn't it be bedtime for them?" "Angelina, the kids are on holiday." "Oh, right. New Year's vacation is coming up soon. I'll have a lot of work, but the bonuses for completing projects will be good. You can take a trip with the kids if you'd like, but you should make up your mind now." "I'm not sure I understand. I have to work. Angelina, I actually earn twice as much as you do. I even offered you a higher paying job, but you declined." "But I've built a reputation here." "All right, I'll consider taking the kids on a New Year's vacation. But that's 2 months away, so we need to make all the decisions and plans well in advance. Angelina, that's exactly how I handle things, both in life and at work. Larry concluded the conversation. At this point, he had reached a junction in the road. This particular highway connected 2 regions. After checking the signs, he confidently chose the direction leading to the adjacent area where he currently resided with his children. He had relocated them within the first 2 days of Angelina's business trip. Surprisingly, she hadn't made an effort to contact them during that time. She was calling now, unaware that he had been the one to transfer her phone from one purse to another to facilitate the move. Larry had done thorough preparation work, obtaining the necessary paperwork for the kids from their school, so the school had no knowledge of their new location. They had enrolled in a rural school nearby. He had resigned from his previous job and promptly secured a position in his field at the neighboring regional center. 2 days after his wife left on a business trip, he relocated all of her belongings from the house that once belonged to her parents, but was now vacant. He took only the items he considered his own and transported them to his new residence. During the same time frame, he successfully sold his house, which had been his property prior to their marriage. When he returned, Angelina was in for a rather unpleasant surprise. However, a scheme had also been set for Jake. Larry orchestrated the demise of the company's founder, where Jake held the position of director, and his friend Dimitri took over as the owner. The first action Dimitri took was to replace the director. Angelina enjoyed a restful night's sleep in her hotel room. In the morning, she left her room, went downstairs to the hotel's restaurant, had a quick breakfast, collected her belongings from the hotel reception, and made her way to the bus station. There, she found a direct shuttle bus to her destination town. She comfortably dozed off in the bus, waking up briefly when the vehicle bumped over potholes along the way, just as she had planned. By the afternoon, she had arrived and walked to the hotel. She inquired about Jake's room, learned the room number, and was informed that he was currently at the restaurant. Angelina left her bags and outerwear in the restaurant's coat check area and entered the dining area. From a distance, she spotted Jake sitting alone at a table, picking at his salad. A carafe of vodka and a selection of appetizers were placed in front of him. I approached and greeted him, saying, "Hi, Jake." Jake looked up and questioned, "Angelina, are you being foolish? Didn't you understand the tone?" "Did you receive my text?" "I didn't receive anything. I left my phone at home, which is why I couldn't call you." "Your husband visited me yesterday." "He visited where?" "At my home. He's aware of everything about us, including the fact that we've been seeing each other for 2 years. Angelina emptied the entire decanter of vodka into a glass and downed it in a single gulp. Afterward, she exhaled and said, "What should we do?" "I'm not sure. He gave you a bag of documents. Where are they?" "They're in my room. I don't want to carry them with me." "You haven't read them?" "No, they're your documents, and it's your problem to deal with. I already have my own issues to contend with." "You didn't inquire from Larry about it?" "He mentioned it's a divorce complaint, stating that he's taking custody of the kids and claiming you won't have a place to live. I suppose it's all detailed in your paperwork. Do you have any more vodka? We can get some." "Is there vodka in the room?" "I'm checking out and heading home, so there's no vodka." "Did you say my documents are in there?" "They're with my belongings. We have a shuttle bus in an hour and a half, and I'll need to decide where to live." "Did he expose you to your wife?" "He cautioned me that if I revealed what was happening, he'd give the set of documents to my wife." "And what happened?" "Nothing. I sent you a text and tried to reach out to you, but it seems he had control over it. He promptly spilled the beans on me to my wife, but I doubt he did it. He and I had just split up. Today, around noon, my wife called me and informed me she wouldn't allow me back into the house. Then the new owner of our company contacted me and said I'd be terminated." "For what reason?" "For having an affair during a business trip." "But why would they care about your personal life?" "I wondered the same thing. But they pointed out the 2-room suite I stayed in alone, paid for by the company. They also mentioned how my business trips were extended by 3 days even though there was no work scheduled during those days. They even claimed that some of the business trips were fabricated. In summary, I violated company rules. Your husband cost me my job and my family. What did I lose?" "Your husband mentioned that everything is in the documents." "Why don't we grab a drink and head back to the room? I'll take a look at the papers. Sounds good. But there's no vodka left at the coat check. Angelina collected her outerwear and belongings, and they went up to the room. Jake handed the papers to Angelina, who sat down at the table to examine them, unable to tear herself away. She said, "Jake, he wants to take my kids away from me, and he sold his house. I have nowhere to live." "Where are your belongings?" "He moved my things to the house where my parents used to live. Now they've relocated to the city into an apartment, leaving the house vacant. It's payback for my 2 years of infidelity. What's your suggestion?" "We need to intervene, or we can try to intervene. I'm the only one who fully understands Larry's plan." "All right, I'll go." "Go where? You haven't finished reading all the documents yet. You've only looked at the divorce complaint. There's also a letter from him in there. Here's what I'll do. I'll give him a call." Angelina dialed Larry's cell phone number from the hotel phone and was surprised when he answered. "Hello? Larry, I know you're upset with me, but what does Jake have to do with all of this? Why are you jeopardizing his family and career?" "If you don't understand, I'll make it clear. Your relationship with Jake was completely inappropriate." "I'm not sure what to say." "Inappropriate?" "Larry, Jake is our client. I oversee their work. We interact with him a lot on the job, and from what I gather, it's not just business. I know you're aware of it, but we should have handled it privately. I warned him yesterday not to attempt to contact you. The first thing he did was call you and then send you a text. So I intervened in his life just as I promised. He'll have to face the consequences himself." "All right, I have to go because I have another meeting. Let's talk tonight and put this behind us. We can start anew." "Look, I love you. I'll be back in town soon." "The business trip is ending so soon?" "I've made up my mind that I won't be going on any more business trips like this." "Angelina, you've already seen my divorce complaint. What are your thoughts on it?" "I won't agree to a divorce, and I'm not giving up custody of the kids." "The kids are old enough to decide which parent they want to live with. As for the divorce, I'm not rushing into it, although you never know, I'm still relatively young." "That's not a solution. Perhaps we'll reconcile after all." "Perhaps." Larry ended the conversation. Jake, who had been listening, suggested to Angelina, "Let's head to the bus station. There's a shuttle bus leaving from this hotel. We won't find any solutions here. Besides, you mentioned you have a place where your belongings are stored." "Actually, it's my grandmother's house. She left it to me, but it's not heated. I don't have much choice. I need a place to live. Please talk to my wife. She doesn't want any contact from me. Plus, the house is in her name, a gift from her parents." They departed from the hotel and headed to the bus station where they boarded a minibus bound for their hometown. The journey took approximately 2 hours and they rode in silence as there wasn't much to discuss. Upon arrival, they took a taxi to Angelina's house. She left her suitcase there and continued to her home in the same cab. As she approached, she noticed that someone was inside. She entered the yard and knocked on the door. A woman answered and inquired, "Who are you looking for?" "I'd like to speak with the owner." The woman called out, "Victor, someone is here to see you." "Victor, where's Larry?" "Larry? There's no Larry here. Victor can provide more details." A man named Victor approached and introduced himself. "I'm Victor. What can I help you with?" "I'm looking for Larry. Larry was the previous owner. I purchased this house from him and my wife, kids, and I moved in yesterday." "Where's Larry?" "I don't have that information. The house was vacant when we moved in." "Did you update the paperwork?" "Yeah, definitely. About a week ago, right after his wife was released from the hospital." "Where did she relocate to?" "I'm not sure. According to the house records, she moved in with either her grandmother or her parents. But I didn't verify." "Where did he move to?" "He left it blank in the address field." Angelina came to the realization that Larry had been planning his departure for quite some time. She left the house, surveyed the snowy yard, and cried profusely for the first time in a while. Angelina walked to the bus stop and waited for the shuttle bus to the shopping mall. From there, she proceeded to her new residence, the house she had inherited from her grandmother. During her absence, Jake had arranged for heating in the house and informed her, "Your grandparents were wise. You could have filled the house with gas, but that's not an option now because the heating system has no water." "So what did you do? Add water?" "No, I filled the stove. Didn't you see the smoke from the chimney?" Have you spoken to your wife? I called, but she refuses to talk to me. I reached out to my friends, but word of my termination spread quickly, and it seems no one wants to be involved. Some were busy, others had their own things going on, and a few didn't even answer the phone. Sadly, I learned today that I have no real friends. What do you plan to do? Find a job. And what about you? I'm going to call my husband. I'll visit his workplace tomorrow. He's a workaholic and can't go without it. Meanwhile, you go ahead and prepare some food. I brought groceries, and could you lend me your cell phone? Where's yours? I'm not sure. I think Larry has it. Jake grabbed the grocery bag and hauled it into the kitchen. Got it. We should at least gather your belongings in one room. We can't just barge in. How are we going to sleep? Let's prepare dinner first. I'll try calling my husband. If he picks up, and if he doesn't, then I'll help with dinner. What should I cook? Jake grabbed the grocery bag and hauled it into the kitchen. Got it. We should at least gather your belongings in one room. We can't just barge in. How are we going to sleep? Let's prepare dinner first. I'll try calling my husband. If he picks up, the pasta and the pork, marinate and fry the pork, season it. That's basically making pork chops. That's right. What do you think I'm going to pair with my vodka? I might have work tomorrow unless my husband fired me. Tomorrow is Saturday and your company is closed. Well, I've lost track of the days. Hand me the phone. Jake handed Angelina the phone. She dialed her husband's number and heard Jake. I'm here. No, it's Angelina. I don't have my phone. I forgot it. My lawyer will return it to you. He's coming by after the weekend. Why does he have it? Because I gave it to him. He's coming after the weekend with a proposal. What kind of proposal? If you've seen the divorce complaint, I'm not asking for child support. But if you'd like, you can make voluntary contributions. There are various options in my proposal. When our kids turned 14, and you might recall, we signed an agreement for them to open bank accounts. Yes, we did. I've deposited initial amounts into those accounts. The only catch is that they have control over their accounts. I want them to have savings for things like weddings or education. How do you suggest we do that? I've created another account and transfer money there for their future. For how long? For quite a while. I've committed to never touching that money. Anyway, the lawyer will explain everything if you want to be involved. Well, I think we're done here. You've given me less than a minute after all these years together. Tell me, do you comprehend how much humiliation Jake endured? Do you realize he lost his job and family because of you? How could you do this to me after all these joyful years together? I have one more question. How could you do this to me? To our family? Larry, you need to forgive me. I'm in desperate need of your help, and the kids need you too. Believe it or not, Angelina, I've been having the same thoughts. I've long realized there's not much you can say to change things. But Larry, consider our family. It's on the verge of falling apart. Don't tell me I'm solely responsible for it. You should have thought about this before you began your affair with Jake. You forgot about me and the kids. Right now, I'm trying to rebuild my life. To be honest, I'm disappointed in you. However, I do want to see my children. If you can somehow find it in yourself to forgive me, I'd like to try and salvage our marriage. Give me a chance to make amends. Please, Angelina, it's not a good time to see the kids right now. We can plan ahead, and I'll figure out how to arrange it. I'll be honest, they don't want to see you. As for saving our marriage, that ship has sailed, and it's not returning. I have no intention of staying married to you. Why won't you even consider it? Surprisingly, I'm not upset today. I don't feel sad about what happened. I thought I'd be miserable or lonely, but I'm not. I feel relieved. I'm content with my actions. I do regret losing you a bit, but you made your choices. I didn't expect it to come to this, though. You betrayed me and our marriage without hesitation. You told me you were going on a business trip, leaving me and our kids to see Jake. Actions have consequences, and they've cost you your children, your marriage, and your home. If the court orders me to allow you to visit them, I'll comply. But the real question is, will the children even want to spend time with you? I've also taken action against your lover, and it's up to his wife to decide his fate. What will he choose? I don't know, but he's certainly lost his job. So are you pleased with yourself for tarnishing us? I can tell you that I don't regret any of my actions to get back at you for wrecking my family. I won't stop until your lover's life is in ruins. He shouldn't have deceived me when I warned him about this. I feel sorry for his wife for being married to a cheater who destroyed our marriage." That marked the end of it. I drove back home. Larry wrapped up the call he was having in the car, exited the vehicle, opened the gate, and drove into the yard. The house he had acquired wasn't too far from the city center. It had a grand and luxurious appearance, but he managed to purchase it at a bargain price. The previous owner, who had recently constructed it, was in a hurry to relocate permanently abroad, leaving no room for negotiation. Before making the purchase, Larry consulted with an old acquaintance living in the same city, who had strong connections. He received a positive recommendation for buying the house. It was conveniently located close to the city center, various shops, and a school. The university was also within walking distance. Most importantly, the children liked the house. Over the past 3 days, they had been working together to make improvements. They arranged the furniture they had brought from their previous residence. Masha's daughter took on the role of the cook, claiming that everything you need to know can be found on the internet, including cooking instructions. However, they needed to unpack the kitchen appliances first, or they'd end up ordering pizza again. So, they began searching for drawers with utensils. These drawers were labeled. "I really have a craving for meatballs. Daughter, can you handle that? I'll give it a try if we have the right ingredients." "Like what?" "Like meat." And so they started settling into their new home. Larry and Angelina divorced 8 months later. Despite Angelina's hopes, Larry never appeared in court. He didn't respond to calls on his cell phone, and neither did the children. Angelina lived alone in her house. She kept her job but refrained from traveling. Jake found a place to live and moved in, hoping to rebuild his relationship with his wife. However, things didn't work out for them there either, particularly because his wife had found a job and was being pursued by an unmarried colleague from her studies. He wasn't afraid of having children. Angelina dedicated all her free time to searching for Larry and the children, but her efforts were in vain. She went to the police, but that didn't yield any results either. Turning to a private investigator, she found herself disappointed again after a month when he admitted failure and declined to continue the search, asserting, "I'm convinced Larry and the children are out of town. Pinpointing their location is quite challenging." We had a meeting with Ben's group, so we waited for him. "All right, young folks, go wash your hands and come to the table. Volodya, aren't you going anywhere today?" "No, I'm not. I'll open a bottle of wine." When the children entered, Angelina was overcome with emotion. She remained seated in her chair, unable to move. Masha noticed and said, "Daddy, why didn't you tell us we had guests? Hello, Mom. Hello, daughter. Hello, son." Upon saying this, Angelina started to cry. Larry tried to comfort her, saying, "Angelina, it's okay. Let's sit at the table." They all took their seats at the beautifully arranged table. Sabrina handed Larry a bottle of wine and a corkscrew. Masha then regained her composure and turned to Angelina, saying, "Mom, meet my fiancé, Pavel. We're studying together at the university." "Pleased to meet you. I'm Masha's first. Mom. So, let's raise a toast to meeting and getting to know each other. Larry, you just want to drink. Let's talk. Sabrina, let's have a drink, some appetizers, and then we'll talk. I'm starving. And we have a lot to discuss, including the wedding. What about the wedding? Don't talk. Dirty. Drinks and appetizers. Everyone sipped their drinks and began eating in silence. Each person had a hearty oven-baked chicken thigh and a side of fried potatoes. The table was adorned with various sauces, salads, smoked salmon, cheese tartlets, and assorted appetizers. Eventually, everyone had their fill. Sabrina brought out dessert and cleared away the extra plates and utensils. Once the meal concluded, Angelina and Masha headed to Masha's room. Ben remained with his father and Pavel to discuss wedding plans. An hour later, Angelina and Masha returned to the main hall. Masha told Pavel, "Get ready. Let's head home." Sabrina bustled about and entered the kitchen. She soon emerged with separate bags containing chicken thighs and a tray of fried potatoes. She said, "Masha, this is for you and Pavel for dinner, and there's enough for breakfast too. I'll be waiting for you to return for lunch. I'll make some cutlets." "Oh, Mom, that's a lot of work." "It's fine. I'm on vacation anyway." Angelina turned to Ben. "So, son, tell me, how have you been?" "Not bad. I've been busy. I went to school first, and now I'm in university. I actually wanted to start working, but Dad and Mom, Sabrina, didn't allow it. They said they could still support me and Masha. Why didn't you call me? What do you think? No, Dad didn't forbid it, but it was hard for me to justify what you did. He told us everything. He had to explain why you weren't living with us. So, he told us everything. I know. If he had the option not to, he wouldn't have told us anything. It was tough for him, especially at first. Masha and I helped with cooking and cleaning, but all he wanted was for us to focus on our studies. And that's what we did. Didn't they ask you about your mother at school? They did. We told them you didn't live with us, and Daddy took care of everything. We only attended school here. I was there for 3 years, and Masha was there for 2. She started university a year before me. She's going to specialize in the light industry. And you? I decided to study software engineering following Dad's advice. Right now, I'm studying math. Like 1 plus 1? 1 plus 1 is basic arithmetic. And arithmetic is a branch of math that deals with numbers, their relationships, and properties. What do you plan to become? I told you, a computer programmer. Dad got me a fancy computer for that. And I write programs. You might need one someday. I'm heading back to my room. I have some urgent internet tasks to take care of, Angelina declared. About the honey, she mentioned. Larry brought this back from his business trip. He was overseeing a construction project in the Far East and brought back buckwheat honey from there. Angelina inquired, Weren't you worried about him traveling so far? Sabrina replied, No, not worried at all. I trust him, and he trusts me. Without trust, there's no family. And the kids supported us. It's just a pity we don't have children together, but it's too late to change that. But you're much younger than I am. Angelina mentioned, Unfortunately, I never got to experience motherhood. I told Larry that right from the start. Sabrina asked, And how did he react? Angelina explained, He said I already have kids and they live with me. I was quite nervous when I first met them, but they accepted me right away. Sabrina inquired, How long have you two been together? Angelina replied, Quite a while, almost 3 years. We got married about a year ago. It wasn't a grand wedding, more like a practical arrangement, but we did go on a honeymoon. Sabrina asked, Where did you go, if you don't mind me asking? Angelina shared, We went to Spain, specifically Tenerife. The kids came along with us. We spent 2 weeks there, then traveled to Monaco, and from there to Milan and Venice. Currently, as a gift for our daughter, we're considering sending her and her husband on a honeymoon to Rome, but that's planned for after they finish their studies. Larry doesn't want them to drop out of school. Sabrina inquired, What are you planning to gift them for their wedding? Angelina explained, We've known about their relationship for a while. We have the financial means, and Larry bought a house on the outskirts in an up-and-coming neighborhood. He had it demolished, and now they're completing a beautiful cottage there. Larry designed it himself. Right now, there's a crew working on site, clearing out the construction debris from the cottage and the yard. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll go there with Larry and Ben to help with the cleanup. Sabrina asked, You're going to clean it all up? Are you planning to furnish it as well? Angelina responded, Only the kitchen and bedroom are furnished. The rest of the furniture will be purchased by the young couple themselves. Angelina then inquired, What should I get them as a gift? I have some money saved up, a decent amount. Sabrina commented, That's all right. They'll probably use it to buy a car for commuting to the university, even though there's a shuttle bus every half an hour. Angelina offered, Can I help with the cleaning? Sabrina responded, Of course, you're welcome to. I'll find you some work clothes. Angelina then inquired, Sabrina, where do you work? Sabrina answered, I work in the administration where we issue building permits. That's where I met Larry. Larry entered the kitchen and asked, How's everything going in here? Sabrina replied, All good. Angelina was just wondering what to gift the young couple. Angelina reassured, Larry, it's nothing. We're actually giving them a house that's under Masha's name. And it's not just from Sabrina and me. It's a gift from all of us, Larry explained. I provided the funds, and I'd appreciate your input. Sabrina added, Larry, it's perfectly fine. Angelina wants to join us tomorrow. I thought she might be going directly to the young couple's house, but I don't mind. It'll make things quicker. The wedding concluded, and Angelina returned home, shedding many tears throughout the event. Her children had grown older and had developed a strong bond with Sabrina, sharing their secrets with her. Angelina learned from Sabrina that her son Ben had brought his girlfriend to her daughter's wedding, and there was speculation that he might propose to her there. After Angelina left home, her children occasionally reached out by phone to check in and say hello, letting her know they were doing well and cared about her. However, they didn't actively seek face-to-face meetings. Larry was thriving in his life, but the children didn't provide many details about him, only sharing generalities. Angelina kept tabs on the local news as much as she could and knew that the organization where Larry worked was prospering. There wasn't much information about Larry's personal life in the news. Then, they reunited at Ben's son's wedding. Larry looked great, and it was evident that Sabrina was taking good care of him. Once again, Angelina deeply regretted her past actions and how she had betrayed him.